Hi, everyone. This is Sam Silverman, managing partner of EB5AN. Thank you for taking time to join us on today's presentation. Today, we're going to be speaking with Hardik from India, an EB5 investor who joined our Twin Lakes Rural EB5 project and who recently received his I526E approval based on his investment in that project in less than a year. So Hardik, thank you for taking some time out of your weekend to share your experience. I know this is the second interview that we've done now that your I526E is approved, but for those who didn't get a chance to watch the prior interview, could you share just a little bit about yourself, your background, and just kind of what motivated you to explore EB5 about a year ago?
Sure, Sam. Hi, everyone. My name is Hardik, and my country of birth is India. But I've been living in Canada for last about 25 years before I moved to US. And main reason for myself to look towards EB5 was for myself, particularly with the work opportunity, and then for my family. If I'm moving, I want to make sure that my family is also eligible to stay and work in US. So as working in Canada for last 10, 15 years after my graduation, I saw that there was a lot more opportunity in US side within my field. So my background is electrical engineering. I'm engineering, and I particularly work in utility sector. So although there is opportunities there, I was working for a good company there, but I saw that there was not a lot of growth opportunity, and in US there was a diverse market to grow and explore myself in various different companies and get that opportunity. So for me, when I started looking into opportunities, the first thing that came to my mind is, okay, for every time I apply for a position, they ask, am I eligible to work in US? And for me, it was straightforward. It's yes, because there's something called TN visa, but that is just simply temporary work permit. So if I'm planning to stay and work in US, I want to make sure that I should be able to work without any dependency of getting that visa stamping done through a company sponsorship or anything like that. So that's when I started looking at the options, exactly how would a residency option would look for me. And when I started doing that, I realized that there's not too many options that would give me a residency within limited amount of time, and that would also secure residency for not only for myself but also my family. And that's when I started looking for EB5AN, or actually rather EB5 route, and I started exploring more into that.
Got it. And I guess, until your I526E got approved recently, you were able to take advantage of the adjustment of status, since the TN visa is one of those visas that allows you to adjust over to the EAD and the advanced parole. Can you talk kind of a little bit about that process, how long it took, and what that meant in terms of flexibility for you until the green card application got approved?
Of course, yes. So I applied for EB5 last year in June, or rather July, and then I had some travel plans. So one of the conditions that my lawyer told me, that when you apply for EB5 and if you directly apply for 485 or your EAD and travel permit, you need to stay within the country until it is approved. And what that does is every time I have to leave the country, I have to get my stamping renewed, which is a little bit of barrier, because every time I have to go, I have to stop at the border. They'll take me in, or if I'm flying, I have to go through that immigration process. And for me to do that every time without having to stop, that is where the travel permit comes in. But more importantly, every time, let's say if I feel like I'm in danger of losing my job for any reason, or I have to look for another job, that's when I realized that EAD is more important. So for me, the process was I applied in August for EAD and travel permit, and I received it in December. And that allowed me to actually go back to my family. I have a lot of family in Canada. I was able to go back to my family at the end of the year to celebrate Christmas and New Year.
Got it. And in terms of flexibility for your spouse, did she take advantage of the work and travel permit as well, or was it mostly you in terms of the travel?
No, I would say that is probably the biggest advantage I have because the company that I work for right now, I'm happy with. So I'm not in immediate search for like a new job or new opportunity. But for my wife, she was stay at home and she wasn't able to work here in US. So it worked out perfectly fine. As soon as she got her time off, she got break from her work when we moved from Canada to US. And then by the end of the year, she had the EAD in hand. So that means that when we came back from our trip to Canada, she was right away looking for work because, you know, both of our kids are at school and daycare, and she's bored at home. So she's looking for something and she wanted to continue with her career. So right away and within a month, she was actually, there's a lot more opportunity for her even here compared to when she was in Canada with a lot more pay and a lot more flexibility.
Got it. Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and it's often something that is overlooked. Okay. So you recently got your I526E approved. So what was that like? Just walk us through kind of that feeling. How did you find out? Who told you? And what was the first thing you thought, you know, once you got approved, and kind of what you're looking forward to now that you know all of that has been approved, and now you're moving on to the next step?
Yes, sure, definitely. So before I got my 526E approved, I noticed that for Twin Lakes projects, the fastest approval was 9 months, roughly, I think, 9.5 months. And when I saw that, I started calculating when are my 9.5 months done. So I should start looking into it. Let me see am I getting approved soon or not. So every day I have my case on one of those apps that will give you like a update without me logging into USCIS website. So every morning I refresh those apps just to see if I get approved. And it was funny because I actually went on a trip to Mexico for a few days, and as soon as I landed in Mexico, I saw a notification that, you know, there is an update on your 526E case, and I opened it, and it was to my surprise, it said approved with some, you know, fireworks and stuff. So it was actually I was actually very excited and very happy to see. The first thing I informed was my lawyer, and before I got the notification in the mail, she received it electronically, I believe. So she forwarded it to me. But yeah, that was really exciting because I know now I'm already in line to receive that green card, and there is no wait time, so I should receive my green card along with my family anytime. And this is it's just very nice to see this you know, stories for myself, but then it's also encouraging for others who are applying into this program.
And first, congratulations on the approval. That's super exciting, and we're extremely happy for you and your family. And you know, now that you know that that's approved and you're going to collect the green card, you know, very soon. You know, what are your kind of longer term plans in the U.S.? You know, are you planning to become a citizen eventually and receive the passport, and you know, maybe start your own business, or you know, change jobs in a few years? You know, what do you imagine, you know, the future looks like now that you have that you know, in hand?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, EB5, when I had EAD, I was already eligible to switch work. So with the green card, now I know that once I have my green card, it's not only allows me flexibility in terms of jobs. I believe there are a lot of opportunity. It also expands more opportunity because eventually I do plan to get my green card converted into citizenship. And when I do that, I open up a lot more opportunity because a lot of the companies require citizenship of the country before they can allow someone to work. So that's one. The other is it opens a lot more doors for my kids now, because now they're also eligible. They will receive their green card, and in future when they wanna, whether they wanna stay in US or outside somewhere, at least they have that option that they don't have to worry about staying here or getting their own visa after they turn 21. So that is probably biggest for me right now. Yes, that is an option, and I think having the green card is one milestone achieved. Getting a citizenship will be second, but of course, at the end of this loan term, I'll get the funding back, and that will allow me to basically use that investment and pursue other opportunities. If I want to invest in a business, or if I want to start another, invest somewhere, another house or anything like that, that gives me a lot more flexibility, and it basically gives me that relief that now I don't have to worry about finding my own residency, and I have to worry about how can I use this fund? Should I invest first? I have everything covered. So that is a good news for me.
Yep, exactly. Those are really key benefits of the program long term. I guess looking back now, that you've gone through the process successfully, can you talk a little bit about, what that first part of the process looked like? Interviewing immigration attorneys, finding one that you liked, working through that source of funds process. What was stressful? What kind of went well, and how would you kind of describe that experience for someone else, who's kind of considering doing EB-5? They've heard of it, but they're not really sure what they actually have to do.
Of course, yeah. So first thing is you want to research everything about EB-5, how the program works. Until you have that clarification, you wouldn't really know exactly what you're getting into. So once you have that clarified, that you are for sure that EB-5 is the program you want to invest into, then you start looking into your programs or regional centers where you want to invest. When regional center, when you find the right regional center, then you start talking to attorneys like, okay, so what's the next step? What do I need to do? What is the next step? What paperwork do I need? What source of funds? How am I going to collect source of funds? And that's when you want to start finding out immigration attorneys who can answer all those questions for you, because they are the right ones to guide you, not only with all the paperwork and all the sorts of funding, but also they can also guide you in terms of what sort of detailed information that you need to look out for in terms of your regional center. Is it the right fit for you? Is it the right project for you? What is the best timeline that suits you? Are you looking to invest in a rural area? Are you from country where there is a backlog in other categories? There's a lot of things that you want to look for, and when you do that, you want to get those right answer. And when you do that, you want to talk to someone who will give you a straight, good answer, not sugar-coated answer, not a made-up answer. You want to get that answer that basically gives you a write-up, whether it's possible, not possible. If it's possible, what do you need to do to make it happen? And that is sort of something that I did for 6 months before I finally made my investment. So first step, I decided I want to invest into EB-5. Second is I started talking to regional centers. At the same time, I also started talking to attorneys to get the idea of what is the regional center, what sort of program works best for me, and what sort of information I will need, and does this all come together when I'm ready to make that investment. And that's when you really want to have that qualified immigration attorney who can really understand your situation and explain to you what you need, how you're going to do it, and when you should do it.
Got it. And in terms of the regional center side, obviously you spoke with us, you spoke to others as well. What kind of made you more comfortable with EB5AN, compared with some of the other regional center operators out there that you were kind of undergoing due diligence with?
So I went to about, I believe I had about, I went to about 4 or 5 different EB5 regional center. For me, I think I spoke about this before, but I I looked out what type of projects are available outside, what areas they're available in, and what sort of basically what sort of offering they have. When I did that, my through my research, I realized that real estate is something where I really want to focus on. But within that, obviously, there's a lot more real estate, a lot of different type of real estate. There's hotel industry, resorts, there is housing, and I always sort of understand housing market a little better than the other. Uh, I invested in different properties back in Canada, so same way I applied my logic here, my research here, and I realized that I wanna focus on residential projects, and that's when I narrowed down to EB5AN. Now, when I narrowed it down, I also wanted to look at it's a 55 plus community. So I did a little bit more research in that field, and I realized that with the location, the project size, and the community, it fits perfectly well within what I'm looking for. And I felt that the project was the best in terms of what I'm looking for. It was a rural project. It was 55 plus community. It was a residential just in the outskirts of Atlanta, and Atlanta is a metro city, and it's growing. It's getting crowded, and people are looking to move just on the suburbs, or if not too far outside of the metro cities. And that's where I felt that this project was very much viable, because a lot of people have families they want to stay close to, and when you have parents who wants to live with grandkids or close to grandkids, this was like very perfect place. A lot of snowbirds who wants to fly into a warmer area when it's cold up north, and this was also another project that was appealing. And then others were like stats about 55 plus, growing population of 55 plus, looking to find an active lifestyle community like this. And that was basically what narrowed it down for me, as in for at Twin Lakes with EB5AN.
Got it. And how important was kind of visiting the project, seeing it in person yourself? I know you've seen it a few times now. Yeah, just kind of tell us a little bit, like, from the first time you visited, up until the most recent. Yeah, what did you experience there that kind of gave you confidence in the project?
So first time when I visited, it was last year. I believe that was in end of May or end of April, early May, and that's when I first, based on I was looking more closely with Twin Lakes. I actually visited the property. I looked at it. I wanted to understand, and I didn't like book any tour or anything like that. I just went there, and I wanted to see. I didn't want to go as an investor or anyone. I just walked in. So it was good to see, because it was, even when I walked in randomly, there was a lot of people there in the office who were looking at the properties, or actually buying the property, or putting themselves on hold for next. And I went through a walking tour with another group that they were doing the tour for. And I looked at the model homes, I looked at the amenities, facilities that they were providing, and it just blew my mind, with the builder, the work they have done in terms of the quality of the project, the housing. It was very appealing to see, and it was very exciting at the same time, because it was not just one of those um, random, or like a small community, but it was actually well built, luxurious community that worked well for those the 55 plus community, offering all the amenities, swimming pool, pickleball courts, from gym, everything, and that basically, I felt that that was the niche of that property, as well as the location. And after that, I I was like 99% in there that, this is the project I wanted investment, and 1% was just to figure out, I wanted to make sure that I had all my source of funds properly aligned. And since then, I went back 3 times. One time right after the investment in July, and I kept on getting those newsletters that there is, the property sales are going on, housing sales are going on, people are moving in, and I can see that stages of development. When I first moved in, there was an area right on the other side of the clubhouse that was still being constructed, and now it's pretty much constructed. So I can see that transition happening, and I can see people are moving, walking around, and I see the communities, like happy communities there. So yeah, it's just good to see that community grow and people moving in.
Got it. And I guess from an EB5 perspective, how important was it that the project was rural, in a rural area, and also, had, thousands of jobs already created? Kind of from your perspective, like how important were those two aspects of the Twin Lakes project?
I felt for me that was probably my #1 criteria when I was looking into projects. When I narrowed down what type of project I was looking for, the second thing was it has to be a rural project. My country of birth is India, and by the time I would apply for any other category, there is not only right now there is a long wait time. I'll probably be joining the back of that backline, and for me to have that opportunity within even EB5 category to have 20% set aside visa for rural area, that was more important, and that's why I felt EB5 for my EB5 project investment, rural area was the right place. Sorry, I missed the second question there.
Just about the job creation, that there's thousands of jobs. How did you kind of think about that, when you were picking a project?
Yeah, for me, like obviously that's another key area that you want to look into, because you'll have your project is approved, your source of fund is approved, but you want to make sure that your green card stays intact, and that only happens when you provide those proof that your investment created that 10 jobs that you need to be successfully remove that condition on your green card, and to have those jobs already created, and when you go there, you actually see that there is so much effort that gets put into building a project up this scale. And for that, when you see that, it is very assuring that not only the project is viable, not only you're gonna do your due diligence on providing those right source of funds, but at the end of the process, when you are near the close, when you're trying to remove that condition on your green card, you have all that jobs created, your project is still intact, and your funds are still intact, and you're guaranteeing yourself that once you get your green card, that green card is not going away from you, and you're eligible to remove that condition, and eventually, if you need to, or if you want to, you can become a U.S. citizen.
Got it. Okay, so just looking back, you hired a great immigration lawyer, you got the source of funds completed. Obviously, it was acceptable to USCIS. You got it approved. No RFEs, no questions. The project's created all the jobs. You're in rural, so there's no backlog. You pretty much won, right? Like everything's gone perfectly. Now, kind of looking forward, for other investors, who are considering EB5, now or in the future, what are some of the kind of main pieces of advice that you'd have, for investors considering, doing an EB5 investment over the next few years?
I mean, anyone who comes to me and says that I'm thinking, I say do it as soon as possible. I say don't wait until you hear some more stories, or you wanna hear someone to get that funding back. If you have the funding, go ahead and do it right now, because right now is the right time. I'm not saying that in future it's not the right time, but right now there is no backlog. There is no, all the dates are current. So and there are so many projects available outside, and even within Twin Lakes there are still some spots available. I would say go for it, because it's right now with the way things are going, EB5AN is probably going to be your best bet in terms of getting your green card as soon as possible. And with the dates, all the dates are current. If you can manage to get those funds in, I would say within 5 years, you're looking at not only getting your funds back, you'll be very close to getting forget about green card, you're going to be close to becoming a citizenship, which is, for many who've been here for at least 10, 15 years, is still in the process where green card is still far away. So I would say, pick the project, narrow down what you need, and if you're really thinking about EB5, go for it. So I would say do it now. If you're waiting for some funding, see if you can, get those funding from a friend or someone, and rather do it now than a little later. But I would say EB5 is a great place to start.
Great. Thank you, Hardik. Really appreciate you taking the time to share your experience, and yeah, very excited that you got approved very quickly. No questions at all, and yeah, appreciate your confidence and trust and support in what we're trying to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here, and I really appreciate everything that EB5AN has provided for me. I want to just reiterate, Sam has been really helpful in answering all the questions, and just giving that confidence of everything is right place. It's not just Sam, it's the entire team. I've actively hear Ahmed speaking, and he provides more details on what updates that he gets, and that's more encouraging. So if anyone's really thinking about it, go ahead, ask the questions. If you're interested in EB5AN is a great place, and if you're thinking about it, go ahead, talk to the team, and they'll answer any questions, all the questions that you have. Thank you.